Just looking to make sure I had the sound on, and I just need to grab a link and we are good to go. So sorry guys, we're a little late tonight. It always seems that I'm a little more late when I have a day off because we're trying to cram in 5,000 things into one night. So we're gonna get started. So how is everyone tonight? Kathy here from Santa Marta Designs, and we're coming at you with the rest of our Scarecrow wreath tonight. So on Monday night this week on Facebook, we did a bow to coordinate with our wreath that we're going to do tonight, and this was all using ribbon from our Scarecrow ribbon kit. So some of this ribbon was add-on because the supplier had shorted me a roll of ribbon to be able to do everything with you guys live. So I had to kind of substitute some items. So this was a substitution, this 2.5 inch, because the 1.5 inch that was similar was reserved for sales. So we had to substitute a little bit, but the kit itself, so the kit that I'm showing you, which had this green gingham ribbon and the 2.5 inch Smiling Scarecrow ribbon along with this face, that is sold out. But we do have a replacement kit. So for now, what we have is, and I'm just trying to make sure that we're in camera because we switched our camera angle. So we have this new Scarecrow ribbon here. And this is a nice premium ribbon. So it's a 1.5 inch Scarecrow ribbon, and you get a full 10-yard roll, and you get the Scarecrow face. So there's very limited supplies because I tried to make it stretch. So there's only 2 of these available left. The others have already sold out. But so you can check out our Etsy shop. I'll go ahead and put a link in the comments for it, but there's also a link in the description box to all our items in case you wanted to browse anything else in our shop. So let's get started. So we're going to do a deco mesh wreath tonight. I'm going to put this guy aside because you know what's going to happen is he's either going to fall off the desk or get mangled as we're trying to do our deco mesh. So I'm just going to try and put this ribbon and bow aside in a nice safe place that it doesn't keep falling off. And we're just going to go ahead and move our phone so that doesn't fall off the table either. So we don't have anything on our frame yet because I wanted to go ahead and do this together with you guys because I find that sometimes people are asking, you know, how does everything get attached? So what I like to do is take 18 pipe cleaners, and what I like to do is separate them into 2 piles. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our first pile is going to have 8, and then our second pile is going to have 10. And you don't have to separate them. I find that this is the easiest way I have found that I don't lose count of where I'm at on which row or which rung on how many I've already put in. So I know I always want 8 up here, not always, but for this project we are. 8 is going to be up here in this inner circle, and then 10 is going to be around here in this outer circle. So we're going to go ahead and start attaching here in this inner circle, and I'm going to start with this crossbar. So we call this a crossbar that's going right across the wreath form. And so this is a Dollar Tree frame. So I just realized the other day I was down to this one last frame. Probably not a good thing. And so we had to go to the Dollar Tree real quick and grab the rest that they had left. They had about 10 left, so I grabbed them all. But I was shocked to see that they actually had 16-inch frames. So I'm pleasantly surprised sometimes at Dollar Tree because I think actually one time I had seen 8-inch frames, and I had never seen 8-inch frames at Dollar Tree. And so those are sometimes usually really helpful to do. Like Some people call them pixie wreaths, or sometimes they do like Santa Clauses around Christmas time. So right here we're going about 3 to 4 inches, distance from another. I just kind of eyeball it. And so what I do is I grab the first 2 rungs here and I squeeze really tight, and then I give it about 3 to 4 good twists. And then what I like to do is just kind of point them in so that I'm not jabbing myself or picking at myself as I go along. So I generally try to keep the twist towards the middle of the rungs, but you know what, that doesn't always happen. It's okay. So I'm just going to keep my screenshot for a minute up so that I can actually make sure you guys are in camera angle, because we switched our camera tonight. Actually, we switched it as of Monday night because we have some new equipment in the shop to do. We're going to be starting to do some metal wreath signs. And so it's not all set up yet, so it still requires some work, but we've got everything unboxed at least and rearranged so that we can actually work in here with some new equipment and new space. So we'll see. I'm hoping by the end of this month we will be up and running at least. And so we'll go from there. We'll put some new announcements out once we have those ready. But like I say, so we have very limited quantity on these scarecrows because the other ones actually sold out pretty quickly. Actually, I think it was as of this morning, the rest had already sold out. We have one left by itself that I left if you didn't want a ribbon kit and you wanted just the scarecrow face. We have one left of those. So that is also very limited. And then if you wanted one with ribbon, we have now is that new 10-inch, or 10-inch, why did I say 10-inch? 10-yard roll that is perfectly matching. So we are going to have some other scarecrow items, and I'll let you guys in on seeing our newest scarecrow attachment, our newest scarecrow plush attachment that we have in the shop that we just finished last night into the wee hours of the morning, because when you're doing prototypes it's always a little challenging on whether things work out or not. But so we'll let you see that before we end for the night. So I'm just moving on to the bottom rows and probably about halfway done already. And this I'm just taking from my pile that had 10 pipe cleaners. And again, it's just one of those little tips that I find helps me, because then I'm either thinking of things or I'm doing multiple things in my head where I lose count on which number I'm at, and then I'm counting, 5 or 6 times what number I'm on, and then having to move things. So I found that one day I just decided to separate in 2 piles, the 8 and the 10. I'm like, oh, this is perfect, because I know when I get to the end, I know I've used them all that I should have used. Okay. And if you're an inch off on some of these, don't worry. No one is going to really notice. You'll be able to fix it, as things go along. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just change camera angles just so I can make sure there's no questions. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, let me know as we're going along. So let me show you the mesh. So I'm going to pull out the mesh a little bit from our mesh roller just so you can see it here. So this is our mesh. It's this burnt orange and cream, and it's got this jute woven in. So it's a really soft deco mesh. It's not like the really stiff and crunchy mesh that you work with sometimes, or the real inexpensive ones. So these are really nice to work with. So I'm going to move a couple of supplies here so we can work around here. So we're going to move our wreath form here, because what I'm going to do is put our mesh here. So we're going to do 10 of them together, and actually I'm going to show you everything that we're going to put on the wreath tonight first, because some of you may not have been on our Facebook Live on Monday. So I think it's only fair that we show you all what we're going to do tonight. So this was the ribbon that came with the ribbon kit. And actually, I'm probably going to have extra ribbon by itself, but won't have enough for a scarecrow face to be sold with it. So if I do, once I cut all our orders up, then if we still have extra ribbon, I'll list these separately so that you can just buy a ribbon kit in case you maybe already have a scarecrow face. So we're going to add the gingham and the scarecrow face together. And I always forget my camera is over here, not over here, so I'm sorry. We're going to add the gingham and the scarecrow face together. So all these ribbon tails are cut at 12 inches, okay? So we have 9 of these, and I'm not even going to bother to put the clip back on because we're going to be using these now. And then for this one, so there was a little snafu. I wanted to use this blue check here, which was really nice, like a good contrast against all these colors. And then I found out that once I unrolled everything, I was 3 tails short. So I said, you know what? I had some leftover denim, which was going to go really well. So we're just scatter it in a little triangle, the denim points, and it will be just fine. So we're going to use the same tan one with every one of them. But on the blue, what's actually going to happen with the blue and the tan is most of them will be this check, but we're going to have just 3 little accents here of a denim blue. So you can always feel free to substitute things where, you know, don't worry, like maybe you're short 1 or 2, you know, if you work it in between other ribbon tails, no one will even notice. So our woodland ruffle, I've cut our 10-inch mesh all up already, and we've already done 8 behind the scenes. So what you're going to want to do is curl the ends. I like to insert it with really tight. And then I've cut them about 34 to 36 inches. I just kind of stretch it out my mat, and it's about 36 inches long. So I just snip it towards the end, and it's probably in between 34 and 35, to be honest with you. I like taking some laundry clips and then just clipping it, some wooden clips that you can just get at the dollar store. So you roll it about 4 or 5, maybe 6 times, whatever your preference is. And if you want your curls wider, then that's fine. You don't start with a tight one. So you just curl about 4 or 5, maybe 6 times, and then either walk your fingers up, or you can keep your fingers stationary and just bring the rest of the mesh in the middle down. The more mesh you leave in the middle, the bigger ruffle you're going to have in the middle and between everything, okay? So I'm just going to create some bundles real quick just to keep showing you before we start attaching, and maybe people might find that helpful. And I'm just going to go ahead and again make sure that we're in camera angle here for you guys to see. Perfect, we are. All right, so start off real tight. I like to, at least. And then again, maybe about 6 times, and then I'm going to clip that. I'm going to flip it over. I like to keep my my rotary cutter there because it's an easy slide off once I get to the other end. And again, so tighter, then I'm going to roll about 6 times. And so here I probably have maybe probably 2 feet worth, or 1.5 feet actually. It's probably 1.5 feet. Yeah, 1.5 feet of mesh in between, just to give you an indication. So again, you're just going to either pull down like this, or walk your fingers up, or keep them stationary and scrunch everything. I really love just the laundry clips because I find that they're deep enough, they're inexpensive, they get the job done, and when I'm done with them, I actually just clip them to my light stand here, which I have my light on today, but we'll see if it shuts off towards the end of the live. It's been one of those ghostly things. It shuts off for some reason lately, just about probably 15 minutes before I'm done with my live. I guess it decides when it's had enough. And it says it's time to go nights. So, so we call this the woodland ruffle for, you know, the woman that actually, not her name, but her business name, that created this, just like, you know, people do for bows that they create that are done in a certain, you know, style. People tend to name them after either themselves or their business names. So we're going to do, oops, I have one more here. I was going to say we're going to do one more together, slower, so you can see. So again, start your curl and then scrunch as many times as you want. I do probably about 6. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And then here is where you can either just keep your hands stationary and just kind of make sure that if you have a pattern, you can kind of see if your mesh is sliding to the side or not. When you don't, it's a little bit harder to see if you're going a little off into an angle. So, and that's going to be the last one that we do together, slower. So the next ones we're going to do faster, and we're actually going to start putting them right into our wreath base, okay? So we'll leave those as is, but we're going to start putting these into our wreath base. And so now that I know we are in camera angle, I just want to make sure we don't have any questions or anybody coming on. Hi Angie, how's it going, my friend? Angie Conti is on, who is a good wreath friend of mine with Conti's Wreath Creations. Check her out. I almost went ahead and scrunched this thinking I had already rolled the other side. So now that we're going to go ahead and start putting these on right away, I'm still going to put a clip in it, but it's not going to get put aside. It's just going to hold it. So like you could even put it, I think, in like your Bodabra, if you had a Bodabra on your desk or anything. Or if you wanted to use your Easy Bow Maker, I'll show you how you could use your Easy Bow Maker too if you don't have any clips. You could take your Easy Bow Maker and actually just put this right through these middle dowels just to hold it there, okay? So that's just like a placeholder. And then you would want to start off taking whatever color combination from your tails that you have. Okay, so I just fold it in half, and then I try to make a little bit of an arch before I put it in there, because sometimes it's hard to get that arch when you get it stuck in there already. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this in here. Okay, so we're going to try something a little different tonight. We're going to start different in one sense, so not hugely different, but different in one sense. What we're going to try doing tonight, instead of just doing the bottom row and then going over to the top row, I think what we're going to do, I'm going to leave those open and up there. We're going to start filling in with the top as we go along. Okay, so our next one is going to be over here. And I'm just trying it to see if I like it, because as you know, things don't always happen to work out unless you try them. So I haven't personally tried it, doing it that way. Some friends of mine have suggested it, and so that's, I think, what we're going to try tonight, just to give it a whirl, and then we can see together whether I like it better or not. Because usually what I do is I put everything on the bottom rung. So I fill all our ties on the bottom, and then what I do is I move to the top. So sometimes it can be a little cumbersome to fit everything into the inner rungs, you know, with already having the bottoms filled. So we'll see how it works. Okay. So again, this ribbon combo was from our kits. And these particular kits are sold out. But I did upload a different kit style, which again, you get the, ooh, I was going to put on the bottom again. See, force a habit. Force a habit, I got to tell myself to not do that. So we do have a different kit, a scarecrow with a ribbon kit, and again, it's going to be this time with a full roll of a 1.5 inch scarecrow premium ribbon versus you getting 2 5 yards of the scarecrow and the gingham, and then I think there was a full 10-yard roll of like plaid, orange plaid and brown. So if our ribbons want to cooperate. So let's keep going on the ones. I'm looking to see if I had anything on my desk that maybe I missed rolling. Sometimes I think I've gotten them all and then I find one sitting on the desk. All right. See, I feel like it's taking me longer to do that version because I'm not used to putting in the inner rung. So, but we're going to get through it together tonight. Okay. And so what we have to be careful of is, since I am alternating up and down, I have to be careful of my ribbon mixture as I keep going, because it's easy for me to forget what ribbon I'm on. But we just look, right? We just look and say, what ribbon did we do, right? Hey Cheryl, how are you? How are you, friend? So I'm super excited though to show you guys our recent Scarecrow plush attachments that we just finished last night. And then I haven't decided if we're going to move to Halloween because we have so many things drawn out and planned. To be honest with you, that I'm trying to figure out whether I want to go ahead and go straight to Halloween next, but we also have some other farm animal attachments we want to finish that I know some people have been looking for. So you guys let me know, what's your preference? You think Halloween next? Go straight to Halloween next because we did already start fall. As far as decorating purposes goes. But I know not everyone has. Not everyone has, and I get it. I get it. I would still like to be in summer decorating mode. I had so many things I didn't get to, right? So, again, just roll up the middle here. Put a pin in it. And so since I already used one of these jean ribbons here, I don't want to I want to stagger them. I don't want them to be all clustered together. So I'm just going to pull these two pieces out so I don't confuse myself and use it right away. Okay. I want to stagger them across the bottom so that it doesn't look like an accident. It looks more like a design, a purposeful design item. Okay, so next we'll take is the blue, this one, and put it up top. Again, today we're going to try, like I said, for anybody that missed it, we're going to try the going up and down version on our mesh placement here, versus normally what I do is go all the way around the bottom and then come up to the top. I really like this blue. It's a really nice contrast against everything. It just kind of pops in there. So I like that. I keep thinking I have rolls done, like bundles done, and I don't. So again, just put something a little bit like a paperweight there. Roll about 6 times. That's my preference. You could do less. You could do more. I've had people, you know, also do a shorter cut on their mesh to say maybe like 24 inches or so, and all that really does is, you know, take out how much you have here as far as a ruffle. So no big deal. It's really just personal preference. I like it more full. So I think if I had maybe done a poof and ruffle, my ruffles would obviously probably at that point be cut smaller, but since I'm doing just one mesh type, I want to make sure it's full and not going to be, you know, anything. So this is a funny one. I just did green here, so let's go this way because we have Jean there. We need green here. Definitely going up and down is screwing me up. So I think I'm going to stick to my normal. We tried it, right? After this one, I think I'm going to stick to my normal fill in the bottom and go to the top. It's just screwing me up that I don't know where my ribbon for some reason went next because it was off since I was doing up and down instead. Probably one of those silly things that, you know, I really shouldn't bother with, but it screws me up. Oh, Cheryl, I'm glad you could catch me, Cheryl. Glad you're here. I always love having friends over on YouTube. You know, we are trying to grow our YouTube channel. So if anyone hasn't subscribed, I would absolutely love for you to hit that free subscription button. And then if you want to know when we post anything up on our channel, I keep saying we are behind, and we are absolutely behind. We're absolutely behind on posting up some pre-recorded videos, or even just pulling some of our tutorials from Facebook onto YouTube. So that's our summer goal. We are going to hopefully try and work out a schedule for getting there, but right now we're not there yet. I think we're just inundated with trying to come up with new products, and that's been our more fun avenue, but we also have to sit down and do the techie part. So that's the part that bores me. I know, right, Angie? Angie says she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're doing fall. I know. She said she still has a couple of summer things that she wants to do, and so did I. But you know what? I felt like it was going to be better served for me that I go ahead and start fall, because I want to put out some of my wreath attachments, you know, that we have planned to do. And if I don't do that now, it's going to be really hard to kind of mix everything into the schedule. So some of my summer stuff that still spilled over from last year is going to spill over into next year again, which I guess the good news is we won't have as many supplies to buy. I guess that's one good news item, right? So I think the reason why I'm getting screwed up is because since I'm going up and down, I need to duplicate this down here and then just kind of keep going across. So now we've done everything all together. We're going to go a little bit quicker now because we have bundles made. So we're going to go ahead and actually bring this back a little bit, because I don't need to, so let's see, we're going to do 1, probably 2, which is off because it's blue here. So blue there. So why don't we do a blue here and then a blue probably. So let's see, green, blue, green, blue. So let's do, this is going to be our blue. I'm going to curve that, and then this is going to be our denim blue here. So for anybody that missed it when I was cutting tails, I noticed that our blue check didn't have enough. And, you know, instead of freaking out, well, maybe after freaking out. After freaking out, I was like, you know what? We need to just make a different design out of this. And there's no need in crying over a shortage of certain ribbon when there is a, you know, workaround. So the workaround is I had this denim, and actually it was left over from another project that I kept saying to myself, where am I going to use this? And, you know, there's like 3 tails cut because I had decided to shorten the project height, and so we did less pipe cleaners. And so I kept saying to myself, where on earth am I going to use 3 tails of this denim blue? And sure enough, I was like, you know what? That's perfect. We're going to use this in our design, and it's just basically going to blend in. It's going to blend in because there's blues in here, and there's 3 of them, so we'll make a pattern, a triangle pattern with them, and we'll stay consistent with the 1.5 inch, this tan 1.5 inch. So I said, you know what? We're doing it. We're doing it, and I think it's going to be just fine. I don't think we're going to have any issues with that, you know. Where did we get the blue and crepe ribbon I need? Oh, yeah. So this one, right? You're looking at the checked one. The checked one was an old ribbon from, I think it's one of those specialty ribbons I had gotten at Joann's Fabric during the fall season, to be honest with you. And I think that's why I was short, because usually their specialty ribbons are not anywhere near 10 yards, nor even like 25 feet. Usually their specialty ribbons sometimes usually come in like a, I want to say, what was it, 9-foot roll. I want to say, but I might be lying. Not that it's in, on purpose that I'm lying, but it might be just not right or inaccurate on the measurement. But I know for sure that their specialty rolls, and I know because I get frustrated when I look at the size and I'm like, ugh. It just means I have to buy 2 because then all of a sudden it's not enough to buy just 1, you know what I mean? So so some of these I might start, I also thought to myself, I might also start thinking about cutting some of my tails at 14 inches, just because I do really like the woodland ruffle method, but it does really curl up a lot, and I don't like how it ends up squishing some of my ribbons afterwards. I like them to lay nicely, and a lot of times with this, they're not laying nicely. They're just kind of, you know, look like they've had a long day. So you could definitely try Joann's once they put their fall stuff out, which I'm assuming is going to be pretty soon. You know, once they start discounting the current season tremendously, they are going to be looking to bring in some new items. So I'm going to go to the top row here because this is just a big confusion now on my end since I've been doing up and down. I mentioned to everyone at the start that we were going to try tonight. You know, some people have been saying I should try the whole fill from the top to bottom right away and then keep moving on. So for me, this has caused nothing but confusion on my end. I'm much happier with knowing that I can go straight around, alternate my ribbons, and you know, just be happy with going that way. So going up and down for me has not really worked tonight for my sanity. So for anyone that hasn't seen our scarecrow, I'll pull him out in just a minute. Not our scarecrow that we've made, I'll pull that out a little bit later. But our scarecrow that we still have a couple of kits available. Not very many actually. I'm looking for the bottom. Here it is. Can't even find the bottom now when I go to try and find the bottom. So needless to say, we won't be doing this method again. We'll be going back to our good old ways of filling the bottom and then going right up to the top afterwards. I just find it less confusing for myself. I think it's easier to maybe fix things as we're going along, but not so much on the method of trying to make sure I'm alternating my ribbons the right way. Oh, and this one's really snagged. So, don't ever wear nice clothes when you're wreathing, because especially if you're working with mesh, it picks a lot. Even wired ribbon picks a lot. Okay. So, I feel like I have so much left to do. We're going to go with blue over here. Blue. I know, right? I'm going to go back to going around twice. Cheryl says she likes doing that way too. This method has not caused me any relief today to going faster or anything. It's caused me actually a little more confusion in my brain, because then I see two blues next to each other and I'm like, what? How did that happen? Right? I see two blue ribbons next to each other. That's causing me more confusion than sanity. So that's all right. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. You know, most of our stuff is already done at this point regarding our mesh. So really won't be too much longer. And I'm just trying to make sure I fix everything now so that way I don't have these gaping holes later. And am I get to my, no, I didn't get to my blue yet. I thought I got to my blue, but it's this one that I curved the ends so I wouldn't lose sight of it. Because you know me, I'd be counting again. Which way is what? And the reason I like to do my bundles already too is because I can just come back in here with my ribbon and then just pop everything in. I used to do was, oh, attach all the deco mesh. Okay, now come back in and put in all our ribbon tails. And it just felt like we were here for ever. And I'm sure everyone else felt that way too. We're here forever. So I said, you know what? And watching others as well, crafty friends, they're doing the same thing. They are you know, making their bundles, and then they're going ahead and putting in their ribbon tails before they put their bundles into the frame, which just saves time. I'm being picky about my ribbon tails tonight, apparently. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the bottom now that we're here. And then I'll go back in and wrestle with the inside. So I think you guys can tell me whether in the end, so this is going to be the third denim one. Remember, this is the one that we used in replacement of not having enough of that blue check, that royal blue check. So you can let me know if you really see a huge difference in the overall design of having just these 3 little denim ribbons versus having all the blue checked ribbons in the design. I personally think you can't tell that it was a flub. I know, right? Less confusing. The mesh is cut between 34 to 36 inches because all I do is I have a 36-inch self-healing cutting mat, and so I just slide my ribbon. I'm thinking about ribbon too much. I slide my mesh right across my board, my cutting mat, cutting mat, whatever you want to call it, and basically cut right at the other end of it and slide it right across and cut at the other end of it. So that's typically going to get us, see, I did screw up. Oh, this gets me mad. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. It typically gets us about between anywhere to 34 to 36 inches. Just depends on, because I just slice my rotary cutter right across, and you know, I'm not trying to get it exactly on a line. I just cut it where it looks straight. Just because when you're doing these kind of methods, you're never going to tell whether the edge is, you know, straight on or a little curved or has an angle. Not even with the ruffle are you gonna usually tell. So I think it's a little bit more of a waste of time to be concerned on whether, you know, the edge is straight. So that's what I prefer doing, is between 34 to 36 inches. And you can do actually even slightly a little bit longer if you wanted to, which I have done, just in order to not have like this smidgen of mesh left over on your roll. Because I always feel like bad throwing anything out, right? But then if you don't throw it out, then you always have a ton of extra supplies that you don't know what you're going to do with, right? So sometimes I throw it out, sometimes I don't. I guess it just depends on what mood I'm in, as far as if there's any extra. I mean, if there's a lot extra, I'm not going to throw it out. But if it looks like there's only enough extra to make one ruffle with it, and I don't plan on doing, you know, a similar design anytime soon, then it's probably going to get trashed. Unless I have something that I want to play around with, like as far as a design on something, then you can always use that to, you know, play around with maybe a new fold or a new method, whatever you want to call it. So this one is just being fussy. There we go. And so we have 3 more left, which I need to actually see. Now we're going to go wrestle with the inside, because I was going to be all squared away once we had done it the normal way, my usual way, but we didn't do it that way. So I think I need is green. We're going to start off with the green. The green it is. So I hope that answers your question on the mesh. But I really do love working with the jute. I've been watching a lot of crafty friends, and you know, I think they're all saying the same thing. It's just actually much easier on the hands. I find regular mesh. Some people say that about burlap, but burlap doesn't bother me. Regular mesh without any jute in it actually makes my hands hurt. Just being honest. It really does make my hands hurt. Because it feels like I'm just scrunching plastic. But the jute is much softer. Much, much softer to work with. So it seems like some people still have, Angie, you still have some summer stuff. Actually, I just got some patriotic, the old-fashioned truck patriotic signs in that some people have been looking for. And they had been sold out, but I just found some more, so I gotta go list those. Because I only had one for the wreath that we had done, and that sold. So I gotta put out a post. So I get it. People are still looking for patriotic. I have nothing on my door for patriotic. The mail has lost my wreath kit that I had ordered from Hardworking Mom. I just went to the post office today and was like, why is my kit still in transit after 2 weeks? Where is it? So they don't know where it is until someone scans it in again. It just says in transit. It's in transit in the back of somebody's truck somewhere. Who knows? Somebody probably forgot about it. Alright, so, and I say I'm wrestling with it because now I'm used to just going across and being able to organize where my mesh needs to stand up and lay down. But that is becoming a little bit of a mess here because we tried doing this bottom to top thing. So just bear with me. Try to move things around. I may actually move this one on up. There we go. I'm going to come back and fix this one. I'm not happy, and this one's starting to fray a little bit. So we're going to have to cut this one again. We don't need any fray in our ribbon. That one is more like a real fabric ribbon, as far as like a loose weave. Okay. And here's our last one. I'm gonna squeeze this guy in here. And if you didn't have 18 of something, you could get away with 17, because adding this last one in, I always feel like sometimes it's a waste of time. Everything already feels so full, so tight. It's just a matter of, you know, you'd have 2 matching ribbons next to each other because there'd be an odd number. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I don't even think that makes a huge difference, because a lot of times you can hide that right under your bow. You know, there's plenty of places you can hide that. And I don't even think I'm going to fix this ribbon that is fraying. I think what I'm going to do is find a spot that the bow can sit right in this area. And it's less strategizing for us as you know, creators. So here is our scarecrow head. We're going to just see where we want to put everything. So I'm going to face myself for a minute with everything. So I'm going to cover this part up with the bow. And I just want to see if there's any portions of the wreath that speak better to me to put the head on. And whether it's maybe top or bottom. And then we'll see what you guys prefer as well. So I'm thinking our bow is going to probably go up higher because we have really long tails and I really wanted to keep them. The tails are so pretty. Now some of them are obviously going to get cut because they're too long, but I'm thinking more towards the top of the wreath is where the bow is going to go. And then I think our little scarecrow head is going to go a little bit sideways and sit right there on our wreath. I feel like we do need some more things in here. So what I do have in my little storage container in the garage that I have just started pulling our fall stuff out. I have some ears of corn. So I think I'm going to grab some of those and also put those in afterwards after everything is done and we're off the live. But I think I'm going to add those just to add some additional eye movement to this whole piece because the orange really is very vibrant, and these tans are not offsetting enough. So the blue is perfect, this green is perfect, but the tan is being a little muted against the orange. So what do you guys want to do first? Bow, sign? I think the sign because I always want to start with something harder. And so this is how it comes. It already comes with this wire hanger. It's intended so that you could hang it all on its own without putting it on anything. But you know, we're not going to just put this on our door away. So let's grab our wire cutters and we're going to see if we can just use the wire that's already on here without having to mess with anything. So what I'm going to do is cut this end off. All right, so I just cut the end off. That was that little loop. And so now I have two separated wires. So we're going to see if we can't just curl this to the back and get this in a position that we could just use this as our securing wire and not even have to attach anything to the back via like a staple or anything. He has one little piece of hair. I think, you know what, he's going to get a haircut right now. He has this one little piece. I think this is why I chose him for myself because he had one little piece of hair that was looks like it was going to fall off. And it sure enough was looking at it more and more. And we just gave him a slight little bang trim. So let's try and see if this wire is going to be long enough for what we want to happen here. Okay. And attaching the signs is always the, the most fun, I guess. It's getting stuck in my mesh. That's why I couldn't find it. And it's always the most dangerous, I find, it's stabbing yourself with wires, as I just did. And this wire is super sharp. Okay. Alright, so I finally got both of them here. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and move some of this before I tighten it down. Okay. Here we go. Just trying to maneuver some of the stuff so that it's not all squished under here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and, you know, I think we're going to go ahead and just lay it down because this wire is pretty sharp. And I don't like to go right on the very outside rungs. I like to start from the two inner rungs as far as attaching things. And that's mainly because a lot of times people have a tendency to go ahead and grab right by the outside, and I don't want anybody to get their hand cut. Not to say that we don't secure everything really well, but sometimes you just never know. So I'm using just a pair of pliers because this wire is super thick, and we will never be able to get this wound up tight without it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and secure the rest of that real tight after the live, but I just want to work this in here so that we know it's not going to go anywhere while we're trying to put our bow on. Okay. And so again, just wrapping it around a few of these rungs here. And just trying to make sure that this isn't going to fall off. So we could do that shake test. Not going anywhere. Perfect. Now we're going to add our bow. And, oh, I didn't even cut our tail off here. Our little zip tie tail. Goodness. Let's cut that off. So we made our bow on Monday night on Facebook Live. And our summer schedule of projects has been decided to be, we're going to be doing basically one project a week, where we split the project into 2 parcels of work. And typically that's been the first of it. We will do either doing the base, or we will then decide to, okay, no, we're not going to do the base, we are going to do the attachments or the bow. So I trade it up so that we're not constantly doing the same thing every week on either platform. But we are only going to be doing one project a week. Just allows me enough time to be able to focus on getting our product line out, our wreath product line out, wreath attachments, and also gives us some grace that the fact that our craft shows, our local craft shows, are not happening anymore right now. And that is usually where we sell the most. So yes, absolutely, Cheryl. Patriotic can be sold and used a lot throughout the year. I had one customer at a show who just he was awesome. His beard was colored red, white, and blue, and I think it was around a patriotic holiday. I don't remember which one last year. And I said, "Oh, that's an awesome, celebration." And he said, "Nope." He goes, "Not even, this is an everyday thing." He goes, "I do this all year round. I am a vet. I've served my country." And he was very proud to wear it, and rightfully so. But I thought it was awesome. So absolutely, patriotic can be used far more than just once a year, twice a year. It can be used all year round. Alright, so this bow we're going to go ahead and attach to the back, and I'm going to try and make sure we don't squish it. So I'm kind of holding on to it with my pinky here. Hopefully it doesn't fall. And so what I'm trying to do is get one wire through the side of this inner rung, and then the other wire on the other side. So I'm getting one wire in between this space and the other wire in between this space. And then all I'm going to do is connect them in holy matrimony, I guess. But I'm just going to flip it over to make sure that we are in the right spot here and haven't gotten off kilter. I think we're good. So I'm just going to flip this over and hang on to it. And I want to pull too tight. I don't pull too tight because you don't want your bow to end up looking like fishy lips from a selfie photograph. You don't want it to sink in and have that puckered look. Alright, so once I've twisted it, then I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it around a lot of these rungs, back and forth, and then I end up just going ahead and see, now it's sliding, so I think I'm going to find one of these pipe cleaners to go wrap it around, because the pipe cleaner is a little more stationary than not. And once I have it around that pipe cleaner, it should stop wiggling up and down the base. And you always want to check to see if there's anything sharp sticking up, because you know where the sharp pieces are. If someone just grabs this by the frame to pull it out, it might get jabbed. I thankfully have had my tetanus shot. Alright, so I left these two here really big, and we're going to cut the tails now. So I love this. I'm loving the big bow. And so we're probably going to stick in a couple of ears of corn in a couple places after the live. And then I'll update the picture into the thumbnail for YouTube, and probably post it on our page in the morning once I can actually take pictures. So this one was really long because this is the extra left over on the roll, and I just said, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and leave it like that, and then we'll figure out where to cut it. Okay, so now all that's left is I'm just gonna go ahead and cut an accent into these ribbon tails. And all I'm doing is folding them in half and cutting a V. You can cut them at an angle, so if you want it at an angle, you can just cut it at an angle like that. Okay, you could also do that. You know, we'll leave this one in like this. But you could also just do the V if you wanted to. So maybe this one will leave, oh no, we already have a dovetail cut on this side. Okay, so I guess we'll come back and dovetail that one too, just to make it match. Okay, and this one I'm just curling in, and I think that's a really cute little accent piece there. Instead of just having your fluffed up loops, you have a little tail that's sticking straight up out of there. We mixed in a terry bow into a regular bow situation. Okay. And I could fluff the ribbons like all day long. To always try and get the right curl. You're always going to be fighting with the ribbons. But the good part is when you use the wired ones, you usually win the battle. Okay, we have a few more to go, I think, or a couple at least. And then we're done, and then we're going to show you our scarecrow, our homemade scarecrow. Call it homemade, considering our shop is in our home. Alright, so I think I got all the tails now. Some of these I am going to curl, like the ones that are super duper long. And these you could actually even do a little twisty. Okay, if you wanted to. this one. Where is the second one of that one? Here it is. This sneaky guy. Okay, and you can, don't be afraid to curl some in, and others you curl around. Oh, this one was going the wrong way. Hello. But it'll just add some height to your project. Okay. So we're going to go in afterwards, after we get off the live, what we always do, and I'll show you what we are going to do, is we always go in and we curl the pipe cleaners that are showing. So we curl them around our paintbrush end. Here you can take a pencil or whatnot. And we make this little curly little loop-de-loop, because if you're working with a pre-made wreath base, everyone typically just leaves the ends without cutting them, showing, like exposed. So this shouldn't be any different. They're creating a little design with your pipe cleaners, but some people would rather just cut them off and hide them, or hide them, not cut them off. So that's your preference, okay? So you can do whatever you want. And so we'll do that on all the ones that are showing, but otherwise, let me spin this around. I know, putting the sign on is always a nightmare. I'm just going to spin this around and make sure that you guys can see it. So most of our tools are in the way here. Because I always forget our camera is like literally right in front of me. I'm always thinking it's to the side. So what do you guys think? We've got our big full bow here. And it's looking very simple right now. So I am going to probably just add in a couple of the ears of corn, because they're kind of cute. And it'll add just a little bit of color and pop to it. So I'll add probably like 3 of them, maybe one here, and one over here. And again, like that will just break it up a little bit for the eye. So, like I said, we have one more of these standalone scarecrow faces left in our shop without any ribbon kits. The ribbon kit that goes with this ribbon is sold out, the scarecrow kit. And then I do have a new kit I just listed, which is the same scarecrow, but with this ribbon, this scarecrow ribbon. It is a very nice premium roll of ribbon. It's like that really thick ribbon, like this canvas ribbon. A 10-yard roll, 1.5 inch scarecrow ribbon that will match this guy perfectly. So what else do we have new in our shop just before I say goodbye to you guys? We have, that we just finished last night, we have our new scarecrow legs. So scarecrow bottoms with a matching hat. So I still have to make the other matching hat to go with that one. There's pieces of fabric left over. I haven't finished everything up, but so this one has fringed legs on the bottom. They both have this jute cord that ties and wraps around the bottom of the legs. So I'll flip this one around here. So this one is fringed and this one is unfringed. So we usually like to provide a couple of options on our attachments, and since this fabric print was pretty specific, and the fabric choices lately have been limited, to say the least, I went with, we'll just make one fringed and one not fringed. So the rest of the little scarecrow, he's got these raffia little feet, or part legs feet. And then he comes up, he or she, so basically I'm going to call it an it. The scarecrow comes up, has a pocket. Each one will come with a pocket. I'm going to keep this design. I was trying out 2 different design pockets, so we're going to keep this design on all our pockets going forward because it's a lot more detailed, oriented, and easier to attach as far as ease of getting everything together. So they always come with loops, so you'll always see sewn in loops on all my attachments. So there's always 2 here. But I know I've worked with these kind of attachments before, and unfortunately, once you get them on your wreath, you're finding that the legs are sometimes dangling. So what I did is you are also going to get 2 attachments, 2 looped attachments on the legs. And we were just testing out where to put them. I think we're going to even them out next time. But either way, these are sewn in. And so even if you only want one of the legs with wire, because say the other one is floating right through the middle of your wreath, it's okay, but you still at least have one secured point to go ahead and put that wire through, whether it's a pipe cleaner or a wire, and be able to do it that way. So that way you don't have the rest of the bottom of this shaking off, because I have had some of them, and I've had to then poke a hole through the fabric on the very bottom because there wasn't anything there. And this is the matching hat. So the matching hat has some twisted denim with fringed edges, and all hats will have the fringed edge, and has a sunflower on the hat. And then this one, some people are like, oh, why is it sticking out? Well, it's meant to look like it has a stemmed sunflower just sticking right out of its pocket. Like someone just took a flower and stuck it in their back pocket and, you know, and had a nice day. So there is actually a full stem, but this is on a wire. So if you wanted to move it or push it down or wherever you wanted it to go, it is posable. So it is, because it is on wire still. So these, I'm so excited, are our new wreath attachments. Our other hats are actually going to be a little bit bigger. They ran out of these size hats, which I think these are a 6-inch hat. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this is a 6-inch hat, and they ran out of the 6 inches, so we had to get 8. So some are going to come with a 6-inch hat, some are going to come with an 8. It's really not much big of a difference in the grand scheme of things, but just as, you know, full disclosure. So, oh, thank you, thank you. So, anyone have any questions? Thank you. Thank you for all the kind words. So, if there's no other questions, we are going to head off for tonight because we have some orders to fill, things to catch up on, things to do. I'm going to go grab a coffee to stay up. And hopefully I'll catch you guys on Monday on Facebook. Thank you so much for coming with us tonight on YouTube. We are trying to grow our audience here, and appreciate each and every one of you coming on. And hopefully you were able to share our live tonight. If you haven't gotten a chance to, please go ahead. If you get a chance, we certainly appreciate it. But you can go ahead and share with your friends on Facebook, and they can come back and watch our replay. So again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'd love to have you on. Go ahead and hit that free subscription button, and hit that notification bell icon so that you can know when we are either live or update some content on our channel. Otherwise, we'll see you guys back here next Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Haven't figured out what we're going to do, but we will go ahead and post something during the week. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye.